Hi everyone, I'm Spiro for Newsbud.com. 2017 is coming to an end, and it was a wild year filled with huge stories, scandals, and fake news. Now, 2017 was not the year fake news was born, as fake news dates back thousands of years as a form of psychological warfare dating back to ancient Greece and Babylon. But 2017 was the year the term fake news was weaponized by the deep state, by the establishment, and by the mainstream media in order to discredit and ultimately silence those who speak out against the official narratives manufactured by the national security state and disseminated by the media. Now, it's an open secret at this point that this is the information age, and there's an information war being waged right now. Now, Newsbud is only 1.5 years old at this point, but in that short period of time, we've been exposing fake news pretty much from day one. In fact, we've even traveled all the way across the country to NBC headquarters in New York City to hold the media accountable for being the propaganda arm of the deep state. No one else is doing that. We've also exposed on numerous occasions how the government is working with the tech industry giants such as Google and Facebook to censor or block news and information that is not approved by the government. Recently, Newsbud exposed how dangerous and even deadly fake news can be, as the media has knowingly pushed fake news that has helped to facilitate illegal and undeclared wars that are still being waged today, claiming the lives of countless innocent people. While the majority of the so-called alternative media is quick to basically repost what the mainstream media is saying while calling themselves alternative. Alternative media is not having a website run by one or two people that just reposts what the mainstream media is saying. Newsbud is a true alternative news organization with a staff of over a dozen of the top award-winning, respected, and credentialed experts in their fields who produce original content on a daily basis exclusively for the Newsbud community. And none of this would be possible without the support of the Newsbud community. If you have ever donated to Newsbud, if you have purchased any of our documentaries, if you are a subscribing member to the Newsbud website, then you are supporting real, independent, alternative news that is nonpartisan. And we pride ourselves on the fact that Newsbud is 100% people-funded and 100% independent. Now, I'm not aware of a full-fledged news organization that offers the amount and quality of content for this low of a price anywhere on the internet. Let's take a look at what Newsbud subscribers get in just 1 week of a monthly subscription that costs less than $10. This week at Newsbud, our Russia expert deconstructs relations between Russia and the United States as they have reached an all-time low. Our China expert breaks down the Cold War 2.0, the China version. Newsbud's constitutional attorney John W. Whitehead covers the current state of the nation and how freedom dies when tyranny rises. William Engdahl breaks down the geopolitical game changer between the East and the West, and much more. But first, this week, Kurt Nimmo wrote an exclusive article for Newsbud documenting the further privatization of war, surveillance, and intelligence that is creating a black hole for any accountability. As President Trump is looking to create his own private version of the CIA that reports directly to the president, as he is talking with Eric Prince, the founder of Blackwater, ex-CIA officer John McGuire, and Iran-Contra figure Oliver North to make it all happen. Now, this is a must-read article that's available now for Newsbud community members. Now, this week on A Different View with William Engdahl, William discusses a geopolitical game changer as Iran will officially be joining Russia's economic union in early 2018, as Washington increases its anti-Iran rhetoric, accusing Iran of being a leading state sponsor of terror. Engdahl not only breaks down how and why this is a geopolitical game changer, he also goes into how and what the U.S. may try to do to sabotage this development, as it is another step to delegitimizing the dollar. For example, the Ukraine was the last country that tried to join Russia's economic union, and we all know what happened to the Ukraine. Now, the full video is available right now for Newsbud community members. Non-members can watch and share on Newsbud Vimeo on demand. Now, this week, Professor Philip Kovacevic wrote an exclusive article for Newsbud asking the question, what did Putin mean when he thanked the CIA? You may have recently seen the headline in the news stating that Putin thanked the CIA for providing Russia with an intelligence tip that allowed the Russian security forces to break up a terror cell that was about to carry out multiple attacks in Russia. See, this is one of the things that I love about Newsbud. We have experts who have lived in the regions, who speak the languages, and who look not only at what the U.S. media is reporting, but also what the foreign media is reporting. This allows Newsbud to provide a more accurate and complete analysis than any of the other news sites out there that just re-report what the mainstream media is saying while calling themselves alternative. Now, this is a very interesting article that offers a couple different scenarios on this intriguing development that is truly alternative and you will not find anywhere else. And it's available now at newsbud.com for subscribing members. This week on Newsbud's Geopolitical Report with Kurt Nimmo, Nimmo pulls back the curtain of the American fairy tale history that is widely taught to our children in their schools regarding the Civil War and Abraham Lincoln. We have all heard the old saying, those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. This is more important than ever to know and understand the real history, as there are and there have been efforts across the board to rewrite our history. Find out why Nimmo refers to Lincoln as the father of the American war state, for good reason. The full video is available now for Newsbud's community members. Non-members can watch and share at Newsbud Vimeo on demand. On this week's edition of the Russian Newspaper Monitor with Professor Philip Kovacevic, Philip reports on the race for the last frontier as the world's most powerful nations are gearing up to expand their territories into space, as they will be competing for the exploration rights of natural resources in space. Find out why Professor Kovacevic says that this new race in uncharted territory could make or break nations and potentially lead to a major conflict that could result in an all-out war. Plus, the latest on Russia's campaign in Syria as Putin made a surprise visit to Syria. Kovacevic also breaks down the implications of Trump's unilateral decision to declare Jerusalem the capital of Israel and much more, exclusively available at Newsbud.com. Just like all Newsbud's productions, members have 24/7 access, but now non-members can preview and share our work at Newsbud Vimeo on demand. Now, this week on Newsbud's China Watch with Peter Lee, Peter breaks down how and why the U.S. has declared China a threat and what the U.S. is doing to respond to this supposed threat in this week's episode titled Welcome to Cold War 2.0, the China version. Peter also exposes Australia's role in all of this, plus Peter takes a hard look at the tactics and influence of the Israel lobby here in the United States that is shaping U.S. foreign and domestic policy. This episode and all of Newsbud's latest can be seen right now by subscribing members. If you're not a member, Vimeo On Demand is your ticket. This week, William Engdahl wrote an exclusive article for Newsbud exposing how the GMO industry, which is largely funded through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and the Rockefeller Foundations, who are major stakeholders in Monsanto, have been manipulating perception worldwide on GMOs. In this must-read article, Engdahl explains how the GMO cartel is only interested in obtaining full-spectrum dominance over the world's food chain, and it's available now for subscribing members at Newsbud.com. This week, Newsbud's constitutional attorney documents the rise and fall of freedom as we've become a nation of sheep ruled by wolves. Newsbud's Battlefield America, hosted by John W. Whitehead, is a must-watch for every American, as Whitehead not only exposes the rise of tyranny here in the U.S., but he also offers tangible solutions for resistance and change. Find out all this and much more exclusively at Newsbud.com for members. Non-members can watch it now at Newsbud Vimeo On Demand. Now, this week, Newsbud released a series of videos open to all from our recent trip to Austin, Texas, where Newsbud's founder and editor Sibel Edmonds confronted the pocketed politicians at the state capitol while exposing the Gulen network's influence it enjoys here in the U.S. While in Texas, Newsbud was also able to secure an exclusive interview with the lone congressman who is standing for oversight and accountability for the charter schools in Texas. In this Newsbud exclusive interview conducted by Newsbud founder Sibel Edmonds, State Representative Dan Flynn explains there has been consequences for speaking out against this network, as he is the only one in the Texas legislature who has been calling for investigations by law enforcement. Now, this is just the tip of the iceberg, as Newsbud is hoping to go back to Texas very soon, but we can only make this happen with your support. So be sure to make a donation to our current fundraiser so we can not only continue to operate this one-of-a-kind news organization, but so we can report on location and continue to expose corruption and criminal activity. Now, Newsbud also offers our own aggregated news, and we call it Sibel's Picks. It's the best source for aggregated news online. Newsbud's founder Sibel Edmonds handpicks each story herself. You get about 90 links a week, plus all of the videos, the articles, the interviews, the roundtables, the investigative reports, and much more, exclusively available for Newsbud activist community members. So be sure to sign up today. And once you do, your price is locked in and will never increase. We want to deliver the best to our activist community members, but we need your support to make it happen. So be sure to subscribe and donate to Newsbud today. Thank you all for your support. Happy holidays, and stay tuned for next week's lineup.